If this was the 1980s, I don't believe NBC would allow a cage match to be broadcast on Saturday night's main event. Jesse Ventura is conveniently forgetting the fact that Hogan versus Paul Orndorff took place on January 3rd, 1987, a big old cage match. Their feet touch at the same goddamn time, but Hogan would go on to WrestleMania 3 in front of 93,173 people. But what a memorable cage match that was. But let's flash forward a little bit later. November 26, 1988, Hulk Hogan versus the Big Boss Man inside a steel cage, both on Saturday night's main event, and also both called by Jesse the Body Ventura. I think we need to get Grandpa Ventura his medicine. I think we need to put him over there so he can just not bother and not hurt anybody and not hurt his legacy. But then he questioned, how do you win going out the door? For what? What are you going to tell me next, Giovanni? You can shoot someone as long as it's outside the ring? You know, you're worse than Gorilla, and I thought he was an idiot. Oh, those were the days, weren't they? I'm John Renton with my review of WWE Saturday Night's Main Event from the Youngling. I want you to play with my Youngling. No, this contest is over. They're in Tampa, Florida. The same area where they're going to have NXT Battleground that I might watch at some point. It's a loaded wrestling weekend. Not the only loaded wrestling weekend. I'm going to be perfectly honest here, guys. You're not going to get a lot of analysis outside of a couple things because this was pretty much a throwaway show. Now, they had around 9,700 people, and the building was pretty full. They had a minimalist stage, the NBC logo, the old school music. Apparently, Governor DeSantis got booed. Good. Fucking goddamn piece of goddamn motherfucking shit. I'm trying to be so careful to not get banned, but a man that suckles at the teat of a wannabe crime lord. He deserves every bit of ridicule that he gets. If you support DeSantis, you are just as much of a monster as he is. So anyway, sponsored by Dude Wipes, so you automatically can't take the goddamn show seriously. Joe Tessitore welcomes us. Talents arrive. Mix of old and new clips. Ventura, look, Jesse Ventura had a few decent lines, but he really seemed just tired. I don't know what it was. So they're at the podium. I did note, I don't think Jesse knows where he is, and that kind of was more out during the cage match commentary. So we get Seth Pheasant Rollins and Braun Steiner. I'm going to call them Braun It Down from now on. If you put Heyman in there, it's Braun's It Down. Seriously, stop with the spray tan stuff. Against CM Punk, and Sami Zayn, both wearing Palestinian supporting gear. Free Palestine, that's all I have to say. And there was the barricade, not the barricade Larry, but the announcer's table Larry. We go to break. There were like 2 breaks within the first 5 minutes of the match. But it's network television. I watched this on the cock, by the way. So, Punk gets a tag. He hits an elbow that's more of an elbow fall for 2. Code red by Punk. Not the only code red that we get tonight. Sammy got tagged. Tornado DDT to Steiner. And then suddenly, at the finish, here comes Bronson. Attacks Punk and just nails it. Just totally destroys him. Totally goddamn destroys him in the barricade. Good stuff. Super spear. 1, 2, 3. The right person took the pin. The right person got the victory. And Here Comes Bronson is part of the eclectic group that Seth Pheasant Rollins now heads. And it makes sense because they went to war with each other. And then Here Comes Bronson broke his foot. And I actually forgot that happened at War Games. So he really was only out for 6 months. If they can't have him wrestle yet, but he can make a return like this, that's fine. I have been enjoying his, movie takes on Letterboxd. Hopefully he's able to do that a little bit more, but I'm glad he's back. It looks like he dropped a little bit of weight. That's good if that's the case. But I don't mind this because Seth knows how dangerous he is, and now they can use that to their advantage. Also, maybe we get tag gold for Steiner and Here Comes Bronson. Kathy is with Chelsea and her Secret Hervis. I like that play on words. He gets us ads. Ran by right-wing crackpot religious nuts that deserve every bit of ridicule that they get. Not all religious people. These ones in particular. So, Chelsea Green had to really try hard here with Zelina. Okay, look. Zelina did win the U.S. title. She brought it to the 9/11 memorial. where her dad's name is engraved. I feel terrible that she lost her dad in 9/11. She seems like a nice person. Nobody should have to go through that. The fact that so many people lost, their loved ones during those terrible attacks, that Stephanie made sure to say that the steroid trials that her family went through were just as bad. I will never forget that. And Stephanie needs to be just have that yelled at in her face that she was a goddamn monster, just as bad as her dad for doing that, because she knew better. Zelina, the person, no hate here. U.S. champion 2025, come on. Come on. As a wrestler, come on. I did like the Make America Green Again sign. That was very creative. Later, there was a botch 619 and a super code red 123. Chelsea had her nose busted. Good job there. So, yeah, Zelina retains. Chelsea should get the Money in the Bank briefcase. So, Jimmy Hart and Bushwhacker Luke were at ringside. Fortunately, both Bushwhackers couldn't be there because Butch, unfortunately, passed away. So, El Hijo del Vikingo is going to take on Chad Gable at the AAA WWE Worlds Collide event. At least it's Chad Gable and not Grande Fappuccino. Interesting that they managed to swoop in and get Vikingo. Hopefully they get rid of the problem people, such as the one that Stephanie Vaquer had to get the restraining order against, that woman. Whoever she is, I forget the name exactly, but that dumb broad deserves to be, quite frankly, blacklisted from wrestling. So, Saturday night's main event, Great American Bash and Evolution are all going to be in Atlanta, July 12th and 13th. At least I think the NXT Great American Bash is going to be at that point. I think so. Fun fact, apparently a Beyonce concert is taking place the same day as Evolution 2. And also, it's MLB All-Star Weekend. You thought Atlanta traffic was bad before. You thought that the world stopped like it did 25 miles south of Atlanta in June of 2007. No, I won't forget that. John Cena got his big intro. Truth was channeling Cena. And he did a couple moves. He did a better STF than John Cena ever has. And, yeah, Cena didn't hit him with the title, but then hit him with the low blow and hit the AA. Told you there wasn't going to be all that much analysis of this whole thing. So Cena is then talking to Jay and says, I'm going to take this title home at the end of the year. That's it. What if your title ends up around the waist of a YouTuber? That's a lot of pressure. Teasing what we're going to get later. Lalani Kai and Tatanka are there. As Bobby Heenan said, the Lumpy Indian. That, I actually forgot the name of the tribe, but I always remember that with Bobby Heenan. Ventura did actually wrestle in January of 86, despite the fact that he was not part of Mania 1 in the ring, but he actually, I believe, was part of a match with Uncle Elmer. Look that one up, folks. I don't have time. Ventura joins commentary for the cage match, and he's pretty much knocking the referee, knocking a whole bunch of stuff, and siding with the heel, which that's fine. And some of it does harken back to how he acted, but some of it feels hollow. He really seemed lost. Drew versus Priest, steel cage match, and can't be that dangerous given who the referee was. I mean, I'm sorry. I like the old school referee thing, but just can't be that dangerous. So, nevertheless, yeah, but again, Hogan and Orndorff, Hogan and Bossman, at least 2 steel cage matches on Saturday night's main event that Ventura called within, 2 years of each other. Come on, Jesse. I mean, I know you were a Navy SEAL, and I know you got fucked up and you're a conspiracy nut, but come on. And I didn't care about the match. I'm sorry. I just didn't. Drew's been battling neck issues apparently ever since, that bump that he took at Backlash. And hopefully this is a way to write him off so he can actually get that taken care of. Whether it's rehab or some form of surgery, whatever it is, hopefully he's going to be okay. There was a Claymore for 2. Jesse kept hating on the ref. Miss Claymore in the corner, staring up at the spotlight. And then a chair to the throat, south of heaven. A concerto to Drew. Cole makes sure to mention that's how he took out his mentor, Edge. Who is now the Adam Copeland in AEW. The man who refuses to do jobs. So then Jesse questions, that's a coward's way out to go out Hogan went over the top to the floor against Orndorff. And I want to say went over the top to the floor against Bossman. I actually haven't watched that one for a while, so forgive me if I misquote. But plenty have walked out the cage door. I believe Hogan either walked out or went over the top to beat King Kong Bundy. I don't remember. But Drew refuses a stretcher, still barely know her. Rotunda and Wyndham are in the crowd. Jesse is at the podium again. You know, one trick is to tell them stories that won't go anywhere. And then he tied an onion into his belt, which was the style at the time. So, Jay entrance. We have 15 minutes left, by the way, and it's Jay versus Logan for the world title. Here's my analysis of it. Logan Paul lives in Puerto Rico to avoid paying income tax. Cena shows up and pulls the referee out later and doesn't cause a DQ. The referee is down for about 5 years. Actually, it's very, very quick. We get, Cena trying to hit Jay with the title. Then suddenly Cody shows back up, big old schmoz. He lays out Cena. Logan gets laid out and gets hit with a splash. 1, 2, 3. Cody says, I've got a partner, you got a partner. We'll see you at Money in the Bank. And rumor has it that they're going to add Travis Scott to this thing. Because that's what we need, is that goddamn fiasco of a fucking human being as part of this. Do you guys see why I don't review weekly WWE anymore? I didn't even hate this show. It just felt so pointless. Hot crowd, though. I'll say that much. So, nevertheless, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Ripplin, and I'll see you soon.